It's showtime, baby. Let's go. Woo! Hey guys, what's going on? I'm having technical difficulty right now. I am hearing myself twice. I hope you guys aren't. This is really messing with my head. I tried to start the show and then I minimized the thing and I don't know what's going on. So, anyway, let's get through this together. What's up? Welcome to the show. This is Sports with Strawberry Ice. I'm your host, the Iceman, Jeff Turnbull. Man, it's messing with me. Sponsor of the show. Let's get to that. And I'll try to figure this out. More on Longer House. I'm doing my pre-game Bengals tailgate there. Every Bengals home game. Hope you guys can join. This is really messing with me. Let's see. Of course, Midwest Best Barbecue. You got to check them out. Meyer Door or Window. And Hail Marys. So let me get to my guess, and I can try to figure out what the hell is going on. If my mouse wants to work. Mon, are you there? Mon, you're not there. What is going on? I do not know. I'm very sorry. We're going to have to try to figure this out. Oh. Give me 1 second. Mom, there you are. There you are. All right.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? All right, hang on. Shit. What?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes. Can you? I can't see anything.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Where did I put the thing?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you. What did I do? Nope. Unbelievable.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. Where the hell did it go? I have no fucking clue. Son of a bitch. Bear with us if you.
Hey, I don't know what's going on. I'm locked up. Let me reboot real quick and I'll get back.
It's not you. It's me. It's all me. I did something, and I cannot. Like I said, I can't find the original thing of the show, and I don't know what I did. As soon as I clicked off to go start the show, it went away, and I cannot freaking find it. I don't know what I did.
Can I log off?
Yeah, you can log off, and we can try to start this again. Let's just do that.
Okay. All right. I'm logging off. Just send me another link.
All right. Bye. I will as soon as I figure out how to turn the other one off. Where is it? I got the Moreline Lager House pregame show coming up here each and every Sunday before the Bengals home game, and the live show on Tuesday. So you can bring that up on my phone. And then also we got Midwest Best Barbecue, which hopefully everybody can hear me. And we're also sponsored by Meyer Door and Windows. Check out Meyer. Meyer at www.meyercincinnati.com for our windows and door needs. All right, let's see here. I think Mon is here. If I can find him on my, let's see here. Mon, where are you at? I heard you pop in. There you are. Add to stage. There we go.
All right, can you hear me? Yes, sir, I can. We got it figured out.
We'll do this. Well, sort of. My computer, that's my computer. It's completely froze. It won't do anything. So I'm on my phone. So until my computer starts working, we can discuss it here. So
all good. All good.
If everybody is still watching after that, I was watching listening to ESPN this morning, and they were discussing top 10 top 10 coaches, and Zac Taylor was not in the top 10, and they kept putting Dan Campbell in there above him, which I thought, look, this is no Dan Campbell hate. He's had one good year. Zac Taylor has taken the Cincinnati Bengals to the Super Bowl, back-to-back AFC Championship games, and he was 9-8 last year without a healthy Joe Burrow through most of the season. I think I don't understand why Zac does not get treated as one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL.
I agree with you. I agree with everything you said. I think he's deserving. A lot of people say, oh, he has Joe Burrow, he has Jamar Chase, he has all these players. Of course he's going to win. But you hit it right on the head a few minutes ago. He lost Joe Burrow, and he had to start Jake Browning for 7 games. And don't forget, he lost DJ Reader. I mean, DJ Reader was the quarterback of that defense, and he was arguably second best player on the team, one of the top 5, easy. And he ended up going 4-3. And you know what? They easily could have, they finished 9-8. They played probably the hardest schedule in the NFL. And he's a deserving coach. I love Dan Campbell. That's a great story. He's turned that organization around, but he's the flavor of the week right now. They're a hot team. And Zac Taylor is very deserving. He deserves to be in the top 10.
Yeah, exactly. Now I put a little list together of, not in any particular order, but I mean, I got to give credit where credit's due. But Andy Reid has got to be the top of the list. I mean, as of right now, he's got to be top of the list. Now, what you just said, where Zac Taylor doesn't get the credit where credit's due because of Joe Burrow. I feel the same way with Andy Reid. Everybody thinks Andy Reid is the best coach in the NFL right now, which I agree with. But back when he was in Philadelphia, he couldn't win the Super Bowl, and he was a good coach, but he couldn't win it. He got, some recognition, but not as much as he does now. So that's where I think the difference is, and that's what I don't understand for last year. Zac won. We almost made the playoffs. I mean, at 9-8 with Joe Burrow was healthy for, I don't know, 2 games, I think, last year. And then he was gone for the rest of the year. So that's why I don't understand this. Now, I don't want to say Zac hate. It just doesn't get the respect he deserves. And like I said, Dan Campbell's the flavor of the league. But here's my list there. Since I'm on my phone, I got to put my glasses on here. This is my list. Andy Reid's number 1. That guy's Zac Taylor. Those are my 1, 2. Then Sean McVay, Mike Tomlin. You got to put them up there. Sean Payton, John Harbaugh, Sean McDermott, Mike McDaniel, and Kevin Stefanski. I can't ever say his name. But the thing is, 4 of those coaches are in the AFC North. That tells you how good the AFC North is in general. So, I mean, what do you have a top 10 list? I mean, is there? I have a hard time putting Tomlin up that high because he hasn't done much lately.
I hear what you're saying. I think it's good. I think you bring up a good point about the AFC North. I mean, Stefanski, I think, was coach of the year last year, and Harbaugh's won Super Bowls. Tomlin has won Super Bowls. Zac Taylor is very deserving. He's definitely in the top 10. But I think sometimes he might get overshadowed in his own division because of Harbaugh and Tomlin. Tomlin, is, you can say what you want about him. He hasn't done much lately, but he's gotten that Pittsburgh Steelers team to the playoffs 2 of the last 3 years. They haven't done much, but Hasn't had a lot of talent there. I think he's a future Hall of Famer. But Zac Taylor, for people to think he's not a top 10 coach, I think that's silly and ridiculous. But
Absolutely.
definitely have him in the top 10. Andy Reid is up there. Sort of getting off the subject a little bit. I know we're talking, best coaches. I look at Mahomes and I look at, Andy Reid and what the Chiefs have done. They've had 6 to 7 multiple all-pro players the last 2 or 3 years.
Right.
And that's good. That's good front office, good drafting. Joe Burrow hasn't had that. I know we want to talk about all this. Joe Burrow hasn't had all-pro players like that. And we know the offensive line. We've talked about that for years. This is probably the best offensive line he's had in his career in Cincinnati. But, some of these other guys have had a little bit more to play with than a Zac Taylor. And, Zac Taylor is deserving top 10.
Yeah, and I don't get I just, like I said, and the thing is it the Zach? He doesn't have the big personality, and I don't really think Zach gives a crap, to be honest. He just wants to win. But is that it? Think he's not a big personality guy, or that Burrow and Chase are such big personalities that Zach gets kind of left behind?
I think that's a valid point. Small market Cincinnati. He's just a wholesome family guy. He's I remember reading an article a few years ago from when the Bengals went to the Super Bowl and McVay was asked about Zac Taylor. And McVay mentioned when he interviewed him in L.A. to be the wide receiver coach and how as Zac got up and left, the meeting was over. McVay looked at the general manager and said, that guy's going to be a head coach. That guy's going to be a head coach. I just saw 2 of you.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right. Nice.
I got it figured out. It was a pain in the butt. I'm back on the computer now.
Okay, good. I saw him like, hey, man, there's 2 of them. Hey, all right.
Hey,
life is good.
Hey, when I started the show, I kept hearing my own voice reverberating through the headphones, and it was screwing me up. I could not talk. So we are back on schedule here. Thank you.
Good deal. So, like I said, McVay, when he interviewed him, he knew right away. He goes, hey, man, this guy's going to be a future head coach. And he could just tell. He has that, that persona. He's a great communicator. And look what he's done. He's taken the Bengals, back-to-back AFC championship games. He won 9 games with a hard schedule, multiple injuries. It's 2 star players. Hey, man, Cincinnati's lucky to have Zac Taylor.
Exactly. And the thing is, and let's just talk about the coaches in our division. I just named all 4 of them, I think, in the top 10. That just goes to show how good this team is, or this division is. And then one thing that Chris Canty said this morning is he put both hardballs in there above which I'm like, John or Jim or Joe or whatever. I can't remember which one's which. One's in San Diego now. He just came back. So, I mean, how are you going to put him in the top 10 of current NFL head coaches when he hasn't coached an NFL game in, 10 years?
Yeah. Jeff, I saw a couple top 10 lists last year. They had Brian Daboll ahead of Zac Taylor. They had Nick Sirianni ahead of him. Those guys were flavors of the week then.
Right.
They're not better than Zac Taylor. They're good coaches. They're great coaches. But Zac Taylor, I think the market size, I think sometimes the media can be a little anti-Cincinnati, anti-Bengal. Right. And so they downplay Zac Taylor a little bit. But just think of everything he's done. He's helped. Marvin Lewis started it years ago. He helped change, Mike Brown. He convinced Mike Brown to do some things that Mike Brown wasn't comfortable doing. Right. Well, Zac Taylor's taken it to another level. He really has. And the Bengals are doing things that, let's face it, they didn't do years ago. And I think a lot of that has to do with Zac Taylor and the culture he's built. And look at it this way. Look at all the drafts the last few years. How many guys have we drafted that are captains of their college team? That locker room, that is one of the biggest culture thing. The way he's built that locker room, we don't talk about that enough. I think the Bengals probably have one of the best locker rooms in the NFL. And we've seen it. It's some of the best stretch of Bengals football in my lifetime.
Oh, mine too. It's not even close. With that being said, we have the other guest for today. He is from the 3 and Out podcast. He is none other than Jason Garrison. Hey, what's up, Jason? How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How's it going?
Good. Mon, hold on, let me play Mon's intro. I didn't get a chance to play Mon's intro. Jason, you missed it. I totally screwed the whole show. So here, Mon at least gets to see his intro. So hold on a second here. I put the work in to do all these intros and everything, and then I completely screw the show up when I start. So anyway, all right. So Jason, what we're talking about here is I was listening to ESPN this morning, and Chris Canty from Unsportsmanlike was doing. It was just it wasn't even a topic they even decided to, or were set up to talk about. They just decided to talk about top 10 NFL coaches, and he could not put in. They're trying to talk him into putting in Zac Taylor in there, at least at 10th, and he kept saying, I want to put in the coach for the Detroit Lions, and I'm like, well, that's great and all, yes, and like Mon said, it's the flavor of the month. Yes, he did really well with Detroit, and Canty's argument was like, well, Bengals have been to Super Bowls before. Yeah, in the 80s was the last time we went to the Super Bowl up until 2021. Like, how's that an argument? And I love Detroit's coach. For some reason, I can't think of his name right now. But I like Dan Campbell. I love him, but it's 1 year. How are you at least not going to put Zac Taylor in the top 10? He had Jim and John Harbaugh both in the top 10 above him. John Harbaugh or Jim Harbaugh, whichever one it is in San Diego, hasn't coached in the NFL 10 years. I just don't get that kind of thing. It just goes to the how much the Bengals are disrespected. Zac Taylor's disrespected. I don't know. What's your thoughts on it?
Well, I think that it's like what Joe Burrow said on his Pardon My Take interview, where he said, when you're hurt, people forget about you. And, I think that's what happened last year is the Bengals weren't. I mean, they were playoff relevant, up until I think the Kansas City loss. I think that eliminated them.
Yes,
but,
that's what eliminated them, yeah.
Yeah, but and they were playoff relevant, but everybody knew once Joe Burrow was out, they weren't Super Bowl relevant anymore. I mean, as much as we like Jake Browning, he's a backup quarterback. If he wasn't going to be a backup quarterback, he'd be somewhere else right now,
Right.
They need Joe Burrow to win a Super Bowl, and Joe Burrow hasn't been on the field. He wasn't on the field for the last half. He wasn't really truly himself on the field for the first few games of the season.
He was only healthy for maybe two games last year?
Three games. And I just, it's just one of those things. It's the national sports media is sensationalist, and they want to jump on the next thing and ride the wave, and I could see the Bengals being, Zac Taylor being on this list next year, especially if they do what they should be doing this year. It's just, I don't pay much attention to it, but I do agree it's ridiculous. I mean, Dan Campbell, I do like Dan Campbell, but the fact that you're putting a coach that hasn't coached college or coached in the NFL in 10 years is insane.
Right.
The reality of it is, I think a modern day coach, and I think it's one of the reasons that like Bill Belichick was leaving and you saw Nick Saban leaving. I think the modern day NFL coach is not as much about coaching now as it is about managing personalities and managing this room and getting these guys in the same direction, even though they all march to the beat of their own drum, just they're all together, And I think Zac Taylor's done a really good job at that in Cincinnati. I think that, I think they have a really strong locker room. And then, like you guys were saying, they keep bringing in guys that are high character guys, a 4-year whatever, captains, and that they become leaders in the locker room. And I think that they're building. I mean, the foundation's built, but I think that they're entering in what's going to be the golden era of Bengals football when we look back on it in 20, 30 years. And the other reason that we don't get a lot of talk, I mean, we haven't, Pittsburgh, the Steelers, having them in the division is tough. They're one of the most storied franchises in NFL history. You know what I mean? They're right up there with the Patriots and with Dallas, and I hate all three of them, but It is what it is. And then Baltimore, I mean, what they did last year, and what they have with Lamar Jackson, they're always going to be, it's flashy. It's flashy. That's about it. it. I don't agree with John Harbaugh being above Zac Taylor right now. And the reason I don't is because you have this thing, you have this tool. It's amazing in the regular season. And when it comes to, push comes to shove in the playoffs, it collapses. It doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean,
the last time it did work, it wasn't because of Lamar Jackson. It was because Joe Flacco.
Right.
So,
right. I mean, Canty didn't even he didn't want to put Kyle Shanahan in his top 5, and I hate the Sucky Niners, but I mean, good God, he's went to 4 straight NFC Championship games, and he's went to the Super Bowl twice. I mean, how do you not? And I, like I said, I hate the Sucky Niners. Like, I don't know how you don't put that guy in. And he's saying, because he hasn't won a Super Bowl, but you're gonna put Dan Campbell in there above Zach? Like, that's, I don't know. It's just crazy.
I think that's just clicks. Everyone likes Dan Campbell. He was the topic of, everyone fell in love with him on Hard Knocks.
Right.
Put the Bengals on Hard Knocks. I think It's just one of those things that's just going to be attracted to more people who see it. People don't see the Bengals very often. That's changing now, though. I mean, it's very, very cool to be the cool kids on the block. I don't know if I ever thought I would expect that.
It is fun being the cool kids on the block. I mean, and I don't know about you guys, but I've noticed there is a change in the way fans, at least, see us as fans. Because when you're wearing Bengals stuff now, people are like, "Oh yeah, the Bengals, that's cool." That's not just in Cincinnati. That's elsewhere. Mine, you probably experience that more than I do down in Florida.
Oh yeah, I tell you, we went to the Super Bowl. I'd go to the local grocery store. I'm wearing a Bengals shirt. People are like, "Oh, you bandwagon?" And I wanted to kill the guy. And I'm like, you got to get through.
Damn it!
Yeah, and oh, you're just a Bengal fan, blah blah blah. And now you see Bengal shirts every once in a while around here. I want to piggyback on something Jason said here.
Okay.
Think about the Ravens last year. That was a perfect storm for them. Lamar is the whole year. Joe is injured. The Browns play 5 quarterbacks. The Steelers play 4. The Ravens have an unbelievable defense, top 3 in the NFL. Lamar's best wide receiver core since probably in years. That was the perfect storm for them. I mean, they should have won it all, and they choked. And that's a bad look for Harbaugh there. They really did, because they had home field advantage, did they not, in the playoffs?
Yeah, that was home field. Yeah, they had home field.
Yeah, they did. And Kansas City goes in there, and Kansas City beats them. It wasn't really close. Lamar just struggles in the playoffs. He's a fine football player. And, I mean, last year was the perfect opportunity for them to take charge and win it all. It didn't happen. But, just getting back on Zach, I think the culture, the locker room he's built, I mean, you are absolutely right. This is going to be the golden era of Bengal football, because he's an excellent communicator. He knows what he wants, and he brings in players that are fit his system and fit that culture. And we're going to get one, guys. We're going to get one soon. We're going to get a championship.
Absolutely. It's just like Joe said on the Pardon My Take podcast the other day. He said, Bengals are number 1, then I don't care about the rest. And I freaking love that statement, because I'm like, exactly. That's the mentality that I have, and I'm not the quarterback, but the quarterback has that mentality. I'm like, that's awesome. And just now, one thing I want to ask you guys about Jackpot. With him, he's even said it that he's done more podcasts this year than he's done in the past. Which, by the way, Joe, if you're watching, you can come on my podcast anytime you want. I will do it anytime you want. Just let me know. But with that being said, he's branching out more. He's trying to get out of his comfort zone. And for some reason, I think that's going to help him mentally as a quarterback. I'll put it this way. Ellie De La Cruz for Cincinnati Reds is doing his interviews in English. Yeah. I think that just bodes well, gives him more confidence in himself in whatever comes his way. And I think Joe getting out of his comfort zone. Now, look, I don't think I would have wore a backless jacket on the. Well, if you pay me enough money, I might on the runway. And he said he's gotten roasted by all of his friends on it, so, which I would love to be in those group chats too. But that being said, I think that's going to help him mentally even more with whatever happens with the NFL in the season coming up.
Yeah, I think anything, and he talked about the same thing with playing piano. It's just something that he wanted to do. That with the wrist injury, he said it helped with dexterity with his hand, which I get that. But I think anything where you challenge your own comfort zone, it just leads to personal growth. And just the more you grow as a person, I imagine just the more you grow as a person, it affects everything, whether it's on the football field or not. So. I'm excited. I saw, he said he gained 10 to 15 pounds of muscle
stronger.
And
he's
stronger.
Too.
That's a big deal when it comes to injuries, shrugging off some of those hits that hopefully he doesn't take this year. Hopefully he didn't need that 10 to 15 pounds this year. Like you guys said, he has the best offensive line ahead of him in his era.
And the biggest, 3-6-8 guys.
Oh, yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I think that anything that if he's been pretty notoriously private, if he's kind of challenging that and getting himself out there because he wants to conquer what makes him uncomfortable, then that's awesome. Good for him.
Exactly.
I agree. I just hate on Twitter, Chase Daniels, some of these other guys are throwing shade at Joe Burrow, because he's going to Paris and walking a runway.
Yeah.
He's on, Barstool Sports, pardon my take. He should be working out. Joe Burrow can walk and chew gum at the same time. Obviously, he's put on 15 pounds of muscle. The guy is a workaholic. He's 26, 27 years old. It's okay for him to have some fun. I think you said something a few minutes ago, Jason. A lot of these guys that tweet out this stuff, they just want the clicks.
Oh yeah,
that's all. That's all they want. And I get sucked into it. I'll be the first to admit it. I get into these little battles with them, and I shouldn't.
Me too.
But it's annoying. It's annoying. And you know what? We have a winner in Joe, and he can do whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, and then I'll go back to what you're saying, where he was saying, he's not rehabbing, he's doing all these podcasts, doing all this other stuff. Like honestly, this dude doesn't pay attention to Joe. If Joe did not think he was in a good place, like mentally, physically, whatever, heading into training camp, I guarantee you, Jackpot Joey Burrow would not be doing this runway show, would not be doing these podcasts. He would be in there working out and getting himself ready. He thinks he's to a point where he's good to where, he's ready to go to camp. And that's great, guys. I mean, honestly. If Burrow is comfortable enough to do that, that means his wrist feels pretty good. He feels good health-wise. And one thing I do like that Joey said earlier in like fall or spring, where he was saying that he's going to take it a little easier, this year. Like last year, we can all admit that there was something wrong with his calf before he actually injured. He was wearing a sleeve, and he pushed it, and he injured it even more. With the emergence of Jake Browning last year, I don't think Joe's going to feel the pressure that he has to be out there for every single freaking snap of everything, and that I think that so. It's kind of like I go back to Joe got hurt in his rookie year. We don't get hurt then. We don't get Jamar Chase. Now we found out he got hurt this year. We found out about Jake Browning, and Joe trusts him and finds out that, I don't have to take it all on. That's another maturing thing for Joe Burrow that I think is going to help moving forward this year on a Super Bowl run.
Yeah, one thing about that injury, it sucked. I was devastated when he got hurt in that game in Baltimore. But I said it on your show, I said it on mine. I think it's a blessing in disguise.
I've said that a lot.
Zac Taylor, Dan Pitcher now, I think this offense is going to evolve a little bit. They had to. Jake Browning doesn't have the skill set of a Joe Burrow. And so I think it's going to help this team a lot this year and over the next few years. I think we're going to be in for a big surprise with Zac Taylor's offense this year. I really do. I think with Joe Mixon moving on, I'm a big fan of Joe Mixon, but Zach Moss, Chase Brown, different style of back. I think the run game's probably going to improve a little bit. I think our defense is going to get back to where it was a couple years ago with Von Bell returning and Geno Stone. Guys, it's going to be a special year. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Now, Mon,
2 weeks away.
Yeah, now, Mon, I'm glad you brought that up because I had Zim on 2 weeks ago, and he's a huge Joe Mixon fan. And I was kind of surprised of what he said. Now, it's nothing bad. It's along the lines of what you're saying. This is what I've been saying. So that I think these two, Chase Brown and Zach Moss, are going to fit better into Zac Taylor's offense more than Mixon. I think Mixon is going to go to Houston. I think he's going to have a hell of a year. I really do. And I think we're going to hear, you guys thought Mixon was washed up. I have never said Mixon was washed up. I think he's a good running back. I don't think he fit this offense the way Zach wants to run it. These two, I think, fit it a lot better, along with, and again, it could be addition by subtraction. With TB being gone, which I love Tyler Boyd, but with him being gone, to me, that means you can move Jamar Chase around a lot more, put him in the slot a lot. You got Burton, you can put him on the outside. Just think, guys, if you had Chase in the slot, T. Higgins on the outside, and Burton on the outside, that's a pretty formidable three. You put Jamar in the backfield. He can move around like Tebow, like you do Debo. We got Gesicki, who's a tight end, but he's really a wide receiver. We got the best tight end room Joe Burrow has ever had. I'm really curious to see what Pitcher is going to do with this offense because I think there's more. And I asked Zim this. I said I think it's the most talent. I do. I think this is the most talent spread out throughout the team offensively that we've had. In this, I think they're going to be able to do more stuff. Am I kind of off base? Or I'll start with you, Jason. What do you think? How do you think the offense is going to look differently than it has in the past with the subtractions and additions, and also Dan Pitcher being the OC.
So I do agree with you, and I think that it's a good term to say addition by subtraction. And as much as I love Joe Mixon, as much as I love Tyler Boyd, and I couldn't, thank them enough for what they did in Cincinnati.
Absolutely.
Tyler Boyd had kind of hit that older than 30 wall where he's still productive, but he's really not productive on the outside anymore. He kind of needs to stay in the slot where you can find some open spaces. And then Joe Mixon is one of the last bell cow style backs in the NFL. He can take the load. He can take 20 carries a game. But he doesn't like running out of shotgun as much as he likes running when the quarterback's under center, and he's not the best pass blocker. He got better. He got really good at catching the ball in the backfield, which was a big improvement, but he wasn't the best pass blocker. And I think that's what the Bengals needed. They don't want to run the ball. They don't want to go through the run game. They want the offense to flow through Joe Burrow, which means you have to protect him. And if he wants to play in the shotgun, that's what you're going to do. So Zach Moss comes in. I think he's probably the best option they had when it comes to a pass blocker in free agency. I think he's a little bit more comfortable running out of shotgun. And then combined with Chase Brown, I think we're going to see more of a committee approach, which is just going to hopefully keep everyone fresh. I could see like a breakout season for Chase Young being like 500 rushing yards and 400 receiving yards, something like that. And then with a tight end room, I'm super excited. I agree with you said. Mike Gesicki is kind of a slot receiver, but with Jermaine Burton and being younger, maybe a little bit more athletic, you can put him on the outside, put Chase in the slot, put Chase on the other side, put Chase and Burton and T. Higgins all on the same side, put Chase in the backfield, put Chase on the coaching, whatever. Put Chase everywhere. Put the ball in his hands. He's a superstar. Put the ball in his hands every chance you get. And move him around all over the place. Don't let one guy sit with him. So I think that these two additions really open up more of the offense or open up potential for everyone else too, not just Burton and Gesicki. It just opens up the offense for everybody.
Exactly. Mom, what do you got?
No, I agree with what he said. I think the running back is going to be by committee. I think they actually need a third one. They need another one. Is it going to be Travion Williams? Is it going to be is Evans going to finally step up? And don't forget this new kickoff rule in the NFL.
I'm curious for that. Yeah.
Are they going to go heavy at wide receiver there? Are they going to go heavy at running back? Because there's going to be a lot of kickoffs this year, and we're going to need more skilled players, maybe a little bigger, 200, 215-pound guys that can return those kicks. Paul Dana wrote an article a few weeks ago. Bengals could bring in another running back. He thinks that might be an addition before camp.
I've been thinking that.
Yeah, Brown and Moss, about 200, 205 pounds. They're not the 220-pound guys. I know Moss had injury issues earlier in his career. He played a lot of snaps last year, which is a good thing. It might be good to bring in a third back, somebody that's been dependable, because it is going to be a running back by committee. One other thing, the tight end situation. We drafted 2 in this draft, Eric All and Lockman. I think the Bengals, what I said a few minutes ago about altering and evolving on offense, I think we saw that in the draft.
Yeah.
Maybe they're going to depend on these tight ends a little bit and, run, heavier sets and run the ball a little bit more. It's going to be exciting to see how this offense takes it to another level. I think they will.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, like, everybody kept saying, well, Joe Burrow doesn't really throw to the tight ends. I'm like, that's bullshit. Yes, he does. CJ Uzomah left, got a big contract. Hayden Hurst left, got a big contract. Back-to-back guys did. So, yeah, they were the only tight ends he could throw to. Now he's got multiple ones. I don't think Joe gives a rip who he throws the ball to. If you're open and he trusts you, he's going to throw you the ball. And I like you said, I am really intrigued about the tight ends because, we all can agree. We're all three of us probably shocked we didn't draft a tight end last year. I thought for sure we were drafting one last year. And that's, to me, is that more of the offensive coordinator, changing. Is pitcher more into throwing to the tight end more than Brian Callahan was, which I'm curious. And by the draft, it seems like it because we got 3 of them or 4 of them in the draft and Gesicki. So that to me right there, it seems like there is what's the word I'm looking for? A different perspective or a different way of how they're going to do this. Plus, we have a passing game coordinator who came from Minnesota.
That's right.
And he was able to get Justin Jefferson open a lot.
Yeah.
So that could bode well for Jamar Chase having a big year this year too. So it's all going to be very, very interesting of what's going to happen.
Yeah, Dan Pitcher's going to want to bring in his own wrinkle. He's going to want to, come in and do some things that are a little different from Callahan. And talking about Zac Taylor, maybe are we seeing a coaching tree develop?
Certainly.
Callahan went to the Titans. I wouldn't be surprised if a Dan Pitcher in a couple years becomes a head coaching candidate, a serious one. With Lou Anarumo maybe if he rebounds. So Zac Taylor, that coaching tree is starting to evolve.
Yeah, I mean, because pitcher, luckily Tennessee moved quickly on Callahan because pitcher was going to leave and go be an OC for, I think it was Washington. I think it was.
Right. He turned down the Tampa job 2 years ago to stay in Cincinnati, and I think Washington did want to interview him.
So
go
ahead, Jason.
I was going to say it's just absolutely insane to me that Lou Anarumo is still here. I mean, it just blows my mind. I figured he would have been gone after the Super Bowl run. I thought he was going to be gone after the year after that. And then, they struggled, so much turnover in the back end and stuff. They struggled last year. And Joe Burrow went down anyway. I was secretly kind of happy. It's like we get to hold on to Lou Anarumo a little bit longer. I'm sorry for him. But we get to keep him here. And I do agree, I think Dan Pitcher is going to put his fingerprints on the offense. And if things go the way they should, that should be one of those positions that catapults you to a head coach automatically. I'm Joe Burrow's offensive coordinator.
Exactly.
Look at the weapons we have. This should be automatic. Someone should be already having him on the short list. Hopefully things go the way that they go the way they should. And then you were talking about running backs, having another running back. I was just looking it up. Do you mind if I go over a couple of them that are available?
Go for it.
Yeah, Damian Harris, Cam Akers, Matt Breida, Kareem Hunt, Latavius Murray, Jerick McKinnon, Marion Mack, Josh Kelly, Lynn Bowden, and then a couple of them I don't really know. So those are guys that are still available. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I could see them bringing somebody in.
I think Daner mentioned McKinnon. He was in Kansas City, was he not?
Yeah.
Yep. I think he was. He mentioned him as a potential candidate.
I would just like us to if we get a back, get a big back. We haven't had that guy to replace P-Ron. I would like somebody in like that. I don't know if any of those guys are that size. I can't. I've heard of them. I can't think of their height and weight right now. But that's kind of the guy that I would think the Bengals would be looking for, is to be that big bruised guy. And maybe it's Travion Williams, which I hope it is. It'd be great to see him to take over that spot. But I do think that's one thing. There's two positions I would like them to pick up. One, another running back. And I'm with you guys with the defense. I'm still concerned about the cornerback position, and not the starting position, the backups. Because we got Dax, who's never played cornerback, but never been his only position. He's learning how to play it in the NFL. I have a rookie behind him and coming back from injury. So those, you still got Juice on the other side. I'm not worried about him. But behind that is if it's 1-2 injuries, and it don't take long in the NFL, who we got behind them. That's another one that I want as another depth piece as cornerback.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you're starting. I'm assuming that DJ Turner is going to start just because of the experience he
I
has.
would think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Cam Taylor-Britt's obviously, that's in, ink. And then you got Mike Hilton in the slot. Behind him, you have Jalen Davis kind of backing him up. So I think that it's just going to come down to how comfortable Dax Hill gets. I mean, I don't know. I hopefully, he kind of makes his career change and runs with it, and he does really well. We also have DJ Ivey, who flashed a little bit last year. And then the new rookie, Josh Newton. So there's a lack of experience. That's
the biggest one right there. Go ahead, Mon.
No, you're absolutely. He hit it right on the head. We have invested so much draft capital in the defensive backfield the last 3 drafts. If you think about it, going into last year, 6 of the 10 rostered players on the defensive back, I think 6 of them were first or second year players. They were really young. DJ Turner is going to start. Mike Hilton, obviously. Cam Taylor-Britt, solid player. They're just really young. They still need some seasoning. I don't know what Dax Hill is yet. I think he's ultra talented. I think he can make the transition. Last I looked, I think the Bengals have 87 signed players right now. They go in the camp with 90. Mm-hmm. I would not be surprised if they bring in a vet corner. I really think that's going to happen.
I wouldn't either, yeah.
I agree with Natty Ron. I think that's going to happen. But, I mean, I like the pieces back there. Don't get me wrong. But we just need some more seasoning. And DJ Turner played so well. You could tell when he hit that rookie wall. He just sort of fell off a cliff last few games of the season. But I still like his potential. I think he's a super athlete. I like our pieces back there. We just need to keep on developing them and supporting them.
Now, one thing I want to say about Dax. Sorry, Jason. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was just going to say that could be something like that the Bengals could benefit from bringing back Von Bell as well. I think, I know Jordan Battle. Did I take what you were going to say?
That was one of my thoughts. Keep going. You got
I was going to say, Jordan Battle played so well last year. I can't imagine them just saying, "Hey, Von Bell's back, so get on the shelf." I imagine both are going to play quite a bit. But
right.
I think one of the things they're bringing Von Bell back is to help the communication part. Is Von Bell and Jesse Bates had this communication down in the secondary. I think they're bringing him back to help kind of instill that in everybody else, so that when he does move on, the place is better off for him being here.
Exactly. Your point with Von Bell, that's exactly where I was going to go. He's a safety. It's corner, two different things, but that veteran leadership will help. But we need a veteran player back there. But I want to get back to Dax Hill, where I honestly, I don't know, maybe I'm just got my orange-colored sunglasses on, but I'm not saying it's right off the bat, and I'm not even saying this year, but I really do think athletically, speed-wise, everything, Dax has everything you want to be a very good, consistent cornerback for us. And I think this is going to be a good change for him, because it seemed like he was thinking too much, and he's more of a read and react guy. And if he can get in one spot and just learn that spot, because honestly, I think inside corner might be the future spot for him, which that first round pick for inside cornerback is kind of high, but that might be where he's going. But what's your guys' thoughts on the potential of Dax Hill being a corner with his speed, with his athleticism?
I think the skill set is definitely there. He's probably, you could argue, he's one of the best athletes in the Bengals defensive backfield with him and DJ Turner. I think he can make the transition, but you just brought up something that I wanted to talk about. The Von Bell, Jesse Bates, them not being on the roster last year absolutely killed us. You mentioned communication. Yeah, communication issues. Guys didn't know where they were going. It also hurt our linebackers.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
Jermaine Pratt, Logan Wilson, I think they were trying to take over that leadership part, and they were maybe thinking a little too much out of place, sort of a paralysis by overanalysis. They're trying to compensate for not having those vets in the defensive backfield. I think their play is going to be better with Von Bell return.
Exactly. I've said that multiple times on here. That's exactly the law. Like Lou said, he said if you lost both Bates and Bell, it'd be a dark day.
Yeah.
And it was. And losing Von Bell, just getting guys lined up in the right position. There were so many times that we weren't lined up right, or they're taking the wrong angles, or we weren't in the right position. And that was throughout the defense last year. That's where, which I'd circle this. I do want to talk about the defense. We got two things. We got Von Bell back, but we lost my favorite player on defense, DJ Reader. I know he's coming back from a second thigh injury. But that's a big loss, guys. And we got Rankins and BJ Hill and McLaughlin we just drafted. Those guys are all going to have to step up. We had a hard time stopping the run last year with DJ. So that's the part that I'm really curious to see how this rotation is going to work, and hopefully Rankins can really step up along with BJ Hill to stop the run. To me, that's the biggest concerning part for me as far as the defense in general is trying to stop the run this year.
So I think that it wasn't just, like Battle and Bates being gone affected the linebackers for sure. It absolutely did. I also think that when DJ Reader was out, it affected them. I think they have guys in their face. DJ Reader's an expert at soaking up blocks. You know what I mean? They had guys in their face that usually aren't there. I think that it's just going to be if you can recreate what he was, even if it takes multiple people. I do like Sheldon Rankins being here. I think that adds some juice to the interior pass rush that hasn't been here really since Geno Atkins, if it works out the way they hope it does. And I'm sure he can be a capable run stopper. I really like Chris Jenkins. I really like what he can do, what he did in Michigan especially when it came to stopping the run, and the high character guy that he is and stuff like that. And then McKinley Jackson, I was really kind of surprised when they took him in the third, but there's some things I like about him. Obviously, there's things that they like about him. They know more than I do. So
at least we
I
hope
think
anyway.
At least they hope. Yeah, they better know more than I do.
right.
But it's going to be interesting. I don't know if it's going to be one guy that steps up and you're like, oh, that's the new Reader. I think it's going to be, we're going to see this heavy rotation of where it's situational guys coming in. Maybe they'll say, hey, Sheldon, you're not going to be our everyday first and second down guy, but when it's second and third and long, you're going to be in there. And hey, it's first and short, or third and short, whatever. Here's the guys that we went in for that. It's just going to be different. I don't want to say it's going to be better. I don't want to say it's going to be worse. It's just going to be different. And I trust Lou Anarumo to put the pieces together in a way that they make sense.
I agree. I think the problem with the defensive line last year was depth. Depth was so poor. The starters played well. They played too much.
Yeah.
And I think they got wore down throughout, later on in the season. Lou Anarumo just didn't trust some of his backups because we were getting gashed. I think the depth is better. Yes, losing DJ Reader, that's huge. He's one of the best players on that team. But I think, like Jason said, it's going to be a running back. It's going to be defensive tackle by committee. Really, Rankins is going to have to come in. We're going to have to get quality snaps from our draft picks. I think Jenkins is going to be a solid player. I think they'll get it done. We need Cam Sample. We need all these guys to come in.
Miles Murphy.
Better.
Yep.
Miles Murphy, absolutely. Joseph Osai, we need him to come in and give us.
It's a contract here for Osai too, so he needs a big year just for himself.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So and I think and people last year at the beginning of the year kind of were down on Miles Murphy, and I was like, there's a reason we got him where he was. He was more of a project, I think, than like most people thought. Well, we're just plug and play, which I was one of them. Plug and play him. He's gonna be in the rotation we did in NASCAR. Well, it didn't. It got better. He got a lot better as the season progressed. I think he's going to be even take that leap this year, and him and Joseph Osai take that leap that we think they can. You can kick Sam inside a lot more and give Sam and Erickson or Trey, snaps off, so they're not on the sideline going, trying to catch their breath. We could get that rotation. I think we have a better shot of actually getting more pressure on the quarterback this year than we've had in the past, to be honest.
Well, B.J. Hill started off, like a man on fire the first 6 games, and he got beat up. He played too many snaps. Remember him and Larry O when Larry Ogunjobi was on the team.
Yep.
Those guys had 15 sacks, 7, 8, whatever each. They split. They were better players because they'd give each other qualities. Larry O would go out, B.J. Hill would come in. They were all fresh.
We need that. We haven't had that rotation since then, man. I've been saying that we've never replaced Larry O.
You're right. And Sam Hubbard was hurt last year because he was playing too many snaps. Miles Murphy's going to come in. He really played well the last half of the season. I'm really excited about him. Man, it's Joseph Osai time. He has to come in. He has to come in on third down, give us 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 sacks. I think it can happen. Because the year we went to the AFC Championship game and lost in Kansas City.
I was there.
Yeah, the last 6 weeks of the season, he was one of our best defensive players.
He was the best defensive player in that game.
I know.
That's to the end.
That's the Osai I want.
Right.
Listen, yes, I got to take off.
Yep.
Hey, man, listen, I appreciate you. This is awesome. You're the best. You guys take care.
I appreciate you coming on and dealing with all the stuff that I had at the beginning of the show.
Dude, I love coming on. It's a great show, man.
I'll have to get you back on again when we're a little more normal. But thanks, Mon. Take it easy, brother.
Take care, buddy.
See ya. Yeah, dude, you missed the beginning of the show. It was a shit show.
It happens, man. It happens.
I'm gonna have to go back and edit and cut out like the first 8 minutes of the show because there's nothing going on anyway.
It happens.
So, with that being said, what do you guys got going on with 3 and Out podcast? Got any new episodes coming out soon?
Yeah. Kevin and I are doing our thing. We always record on Wednesday. New episodes come out on Thursday. We're on Orange and Black Insider on YouTube, and now we're part of Believe, the Believe Network. So we're Believe in Cincy, and it's Anthony and John on OBI. It's Kevin and I on 3 and Out. It's Talking Football with Bengal Jim and his whole crew. And it's Matt and Willie No Ball with Matt Minich and Willie Lutz. So it's been fun. It's kind of rebuilding this whole thing with Believe. It's been a lot of fun, and it's been awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. I didn't know I had because I was told also I call him the Godfather. I had AC Anthony because it's on, and I like I said, summertime here. There's not a lot going on.
Sure.
I don't listen to as many podcasts as I do normally. And I didn't realize that you all switched over to the Believe. I'm like, wow. I was like, Well, don't forget about us little guys when you guys go up to the top. But yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad. I'm happy for you guys that you're on there. I know getting the right platform and everything definitely helps a lot. So that's good looking out for you guys. So
Absolutely.
Jason, I appreciate you coming on, man. I'm going to have to get you on again.
Absolutely.
When we have you on longer and I don't screw my own damn show up. But dude, I appreciate you coming on, and like I said, we'll do it again sometime.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot. Hooday.
Hooday. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. I am sorry for the beginning of the show. If you guys, oh my goodness, it was horrible. All right, so this is what happened. I was talking to Mom before the show started, and I couldn't find my mouse. So sometimes I click on it and it pops up. Well, it was on something that I clicked on, and it minimized the whole show. I could hear Mom, but I couldn't see anything on the screen. I'm like, what is going on? So then I tried to go back in the StreamYard to get on, and then I'm on there twice, and I'm talking. And I started the show, then I'm talking, and I'm hearing myself through the headphones, and it was screwing me up, and it was just, it was horrible. So thanks for everybody who stuck around until I got back on. I appreciate you guys. But I am going to try to do my sponsors justice here because I completely screwed the reads up at the beginning. Now, you guys know this. That you've been watching the show a lot. We are going to be doing a Moorline Lager House pregame show for each and every Bengals home game. It is going to be an awesome, awesome time. There's going to be former Bengals there. I know my boy Corey Dillon's going to be there. We got a list of other ones that I can't confirm yet, but we're working on getting them there. There will be a cost for this, but the portion of proceeds go to the foundation of the Player's Choice that day. It's going to be an absolute freaking blast. If you've ever been to Moorline House, it's nothing but high quality food, drink down there. It is well worth it. I know somebody asked in the chat when the show started, when I was trying to figure it out, they're going to have a non-alcoholic part of this. I do not know, but that is something that I could ask to find out if that's even an option for the people who want to come down and enjoy the event, but don't want to have the alcohol. I mean, obviously you got pop and all that stuff. But I will find out that for you. But you also get access to the new bourbon room that they're working on as well. Also, every Tuesday during the season, I'll be doing a live show down there at the Moorline House. It'll be our Monday show. We're moving it to Tuesday. So Corey Dillon and Bengals Captain will be joining me. Cat might be live sometimes. Corey might be live if he's in town, but most of the time they'll be on the computer like they normally do every Tuesday. But you can come down and hang out. And maybe I'll have some other special guests at the restaurant with me. But it's going to be an absolute blast. I am so excited to do this. And I just thank you to the Moorline House for the opportunity. It is awesome. Now, if you are a chicken wing fan like I am, you better get out to the east side. Yes, I'm a west sider, but I'm promoting the east side place. It's Midwest best barbecue and creamery right there on Ward's Corner Avenue exit. It's right off the exit. You can see it from 275. Tim and Nicole are awesome people. Check them out. Go get you some CTB wings, some G-Funk, pulled pork sandwiches. Like I said, they have chili every once in a while. Tim just knows how to cook, dude. Get the chili. Get the pork chop loaves, the macaroni and cheese. It's all delicious. You take a dart and throw it at the menu. I guarantee you will like something. Also, if you guys are in the market for any windows and doors, I got them in my house. You should get them in yours. Check out Meyer Window and Door at www.meyercincinnati.com. Matty Myers will show up to your house in the Jackpot Joe Mobile. You can talk to football. You can talk windows. He's a great dude. It's a great family. Meyer Windows and Door. Also, my West Side peeps, go to the Jewel in Chivois. It's Hail Mary's your ticket to the game. Great little sports bar there. They got food trucks there. Free parking. I always talk about free parking because it's easy. You don't have to go on the street or anything. Just go right across the street. They have this big-ass parking lot. It's free. You park there, walk across the street to Hail Mary's. Watch some. Hopefully the Reds win tonight, which hopefully they get on a winning streak. Again, they won last night. Maybe they win tonight. Check out Hail Mary's, your ticket to the game. News of the day for the Reds, which I did not get to talk about because I messed up my show. But we have not one but two All-Stars now. We got Hunter Green, who's an All-Star, along with Ellie De La Cruz. Hopefully the Reds will take two in a row. That would be nice. This team has been just frustrating. This is such an up and down season. I went to the game Saturday, and we're winning all the way up till the 8th inning. And we had Hunter Green pitched awesome. And people could say, oh, we should have put him back out there. Like, he was over 100 pitches. Yeah, hindsight, he probably should have put him back out there. But we had 3 of our best relievers come in, and all 3 of them sucked. Gave up 5 runs in 1 inning. And that was such a frustrating game. You go to New York, beat probably the best team in baseball right now, the Yankees. Sweep them, crush them, kick their ass, and then come home and lay an egg. But they got back on track last night. The kid, Rio, I think his name is, I think you guys talked about in the chat while I was trying to get my show back on, hit his first career home run last night. He did get the ball back. So it was an awesome time. Hopefully the Reds will win tonight. Other than that, I will be back tomorrow better than ever. I don't have a guest yet. I'm working on it. Trust me, I will do better. Go drink some beer. To drink delicious Moline House Lager beer. I recommend it. Other than that, that's your sports, baby. See ya!